YouTube, Jason back, doing stuff drinking. Today's the Alaska base. Named so because my buddy in Alaska saw my barn base that I built on Facebook and asked that I paint his one. He wants it hydro dipped, as you've seen with Gary, but he wants neon orange and neon green. I'm going to throw some black in there for some contrast. He didn't ask for it, but I think it looked pretty good. This is going to be a 5-string semi-hollow base. I got it all sanded. It just needs to be sealed and primed, I guess. A couple layers of each. I fashioned this handle for dipping and for hang drying, leaving a gap here so when the paint dries, it doesn't adhere to both, causing cracks or tears when you peel it off. I also put a space here. Come off nice and clean. Whatever happens in here doesn't matter. That's where the neck goes. It covers everything up. I might do some masking off of some of the holes. Not all of them. And then we're all done. We hang up there to dry. So I'm gonna throw some sealer and some primer on it, and I'll get back to you when we're ready for the dip. All right, YouTube, we're back. The Alaska base has had some time for the primer to dry. I did a little bit of masking since it is a semi-hollow body, just to stop a lot of water from totally flooding through it. Obviously there's parts that I couldn't mask. I have here a garbage bag inside of a garbage can that I use for coals. The garbage bag is just to keep it clean because it, like I said, it's used for coals, for grilling. It is the deepest vessel I have for hydro dipping. I do have a slight concern about the width as far as the surface area of the water, holding enough paint to cover both sides of the guitar. Worst case scenario, we sand, reprimer, and try again. So I'm gonna start adding the paint, and then we'll see what happens. I'm glad you're here with me. A little nervous, but what's the worst gonna happen? Let's go for it. I don't know how much or how little paint to add. I don't think that you can put too much, so I'm going to go for it. A lot of paint's going in. If it doesn't work out, it's just a little bit of time and a couple more cans of paint. I'm going to go heavy on the orange and green. Just a little black in between. My friend up in Alaska, these are the colors he requested. That's why it's called the Alaska base. I think it's a good combination. As I said before, I don't know how little or how much to add. I'm just going to go until I think I got enough. Then go a little more. I do not know what temperature drying becomes an issue. If it starts drying on you before you actually do the dip. These are all things we're going to learn together. I don't think it will look bad no matter what happens. But when I do a project, I kind of like it to turn out up to my standards. You seen how Gary, the skull, turned out. Got some drips, but it was only the satin paint that dripped. Oddly enough, these are all gloss colors. I do not know that that had anything to do with it. He still looks pretty cool though. I like Gary. Might be enough. Do a little swirling. Swirl the paint around. And let's go for the dip. Go for the gusto, as they say. If it is not enough, we try again, folks. Real slow is what the videos say. Let that paint get adhered. I'm already thinking maybe too much black. But we'll see what happens. Sometimes, if you don't do it right the first time, it actually turns out looking pretty cool. I'm starting to think I didn't add enough paint. Top's getting a little clear. I already see some parts. You got primer showing. It looks really badass. I don't know what I could have done other than add more paint, but it was starting to skin up and some of it was starting to fall to the bottom. Again, the black seems to be dripping. That's the only color that drips. Maybe it's just that color. All in all, though, it looks pretty nice. I'm not even sure that the primer showing is a bad thing. We'll see how she looks when she dries up, and we'll go from there. If I think I gotta redo it, you'll be part of that journey as well. Alaska base, this is how it turned out. Having problems with the black again, as I did with Gary. I think I'm going to do it over, leaving the black out, but still wanting black in the mix. Maybe I'll try the black as the base coat. As you can see here, I ran out of paint. So more paint, no black, black base coat. And then we'll see how she turns out. We'll see you then. All right, YouTube, back up in the garage. Round 2 for the Alaska base. After more research and a couple changes, I discovered Magic Marble swirling paint. This stuff was engineered, invented, designed, labbed, all that, just for this process of painting. I got the orange and the green. For the website recommendations, it says 65 to 70 degrees. We were right at 70. I don't know if you can read that. It's my meat thermometer, but it's all I had. So we're going to add the drops of paint per instruction. What I did to the guitar, because I noticed that water runoff had a lot to do with some of the paint smearing. So I plugged, taped, filled every hole that I could, except for this F hole. I couldn't find a way around it myself. Whatever water does get in, that will give us some place for it to escape. I even put some foam here. A little might trickle in, but it won't gush out like it did in the past. So we got rid of the black altogether. I started with a white base this time, base coat on the bass guitar. So if there is any streaks where the paint does not touch, the white I think will blend well. Where before I tried adding the black to the water and just see what happens. Now I just started with the base coat and I'm doing only green and orange paint. And hopefully it turns out. This is my first time ever doing these. I did not do a practice run. These are brand new bottles. And let's give it a whirl. The nice thing about these is the overspray. There's none. You just drip. First impression is it kind of dissipates and looks clear. We might be using a lot of paint here today, but I got 2 full bottles and we'll see what happens. It does say to act quick. We're just going for it. Now I start to see the color floating on the water. I don't know if the angle that I had set the camera up will show you that or not. It's starting to look kind of cool. Maybe do some orange over here. Some green in the middle of this one. I'm gonna do a lot of paint. I think that not enough is worse than too much. Oh, this one's empty now? Acting like it. Just a little more green right over the other side of this, try to mix them up a bit. I'm not too concerned about it being mostly one color to the other. I'm just concerned about seeing both colors and having enough color. That one's rattling like it's near dead. Do a little swirling in here. Drop the swirl stick. Let's grab another. Let's give it a shot, folks. See what happens. Try to get the water out of that F-hole. I can hear it floating around in there. All in all, I think it looks pretty cool. Poke a hole in that, in case any got in there. The white really adds a nice touch to it. The swirl paint, or magic marble paint, if you will, it doesn't have the runoff that the spray paint technique had. There's no primer showing like when I tried it before. So there it is. Still oozing. I got some on my hand from when I swirl all the paint away. I can feel it. It's real tacky stuff. I suppose that helps with the water. Got it on my hoodie. Wife won't be too stoked about that one. But when you spend most of your time working in a shop or on a construction site, your clothes tend to take a beating. All right, let her get dried up. See how it turned out, and I'll see you then. Well, here it is, YouTube. The final product. I'm pretty happy with this time. Still has some drips, but unlike the black spray paint, the magic marble paint, they're smooth and they kind of add to the look, not pitted or cavernous like canyons. I'm pretty happy with it. I think my friend will be too. After watching all those videos, how everything turns out perfect, Got me wondering if some of them guys don't show their mistakes or not. The other guys on YouTube I'm talking. But all in all, turned out pretty cool. Now I just got to wire it up, put the neck on, put some strings in it, and ship it off to Alaska. And Sylvia's done. So today, we're drinking to the hydro dippers of YouTube. You guys are either brilliant or bullshit. Either way, keep up the good work. Jason out.